You're listening to the Mezzo Guild podcast.
بس أنا لازم أحسه الأول عشان أقوله.
아직 나의 어색한 한국말이 짤따рат하고 지적하지 말아주세요.
Я хочу с тобой серьезно поговорить.
Really good news, Farragut. No, I can quit this Maldinas here, sure.
Language learning, made simple. Hey everyone. We've just returned from our time working with Iraqi and Syrian refugees in Jordan. Just over a week ago, I shared about some of the observations that I'd made doing language immersion in Jordan as a young family for the first time. We took our 8-month-old son with us on his first adventure, and it was a very, very different challenge to what I'm used to. I found traveling as a family to be more advantageous when meeting people, and it really helped us to deepen relationships in ways that I've never been able to do while traveling solo. On top of that, I intimated that I'd experienced some really unique challenges during this trip that have really tested me in more ways than one. It was an exhausting experience. Even though Arabic is the language that I'm most comfortable with and competent in, I found this trip to be genuinely difficult for a number of reasons, and not all of those reasons are linguistic. I promised to share details on specifically why this is. So today I'm going to do just that. Now, at the end of last year, I was put in touch with a ministry in Amman that works closely with Iraqi and Syrian refugees. Their primary focus is on helping and supporting Iraqi Christians, mostly Assyrians from Mosul, who were able to escape ISIS. In case you're unaware, as one of the oldest Christian communities on earth, these Iraqis have been completely displaced and victim to one of the worst genocidal atrocities in recent memory. Now, there has been some coverage of this, to be fair. Most people are kind of aware of it, but it amazes me that it's never really talked about that much. As many people know, ISIS would enter the towns and mark Christian homes as targets with the Arabic letter Nun, and which is the first letter in the word Nasrani. This is an Arabic word for Christian. It means Nazarene, of Nazareth, and it's used in a pejorative way. Much the same way that the first century religious leaders, the Jewish leaders, used to insult Christians as the sect of the Nazarenes. These Iraqis that we met with have gone through some horrors that I still can't even get my head around. I still can't fathom it. We met with victims of torture, rape, kidnapping, looting, imminent death threats, and we learned about their stories. We spoke to these people, and it was a truly humbling and hard experience. Now, even though they're safe now in Jordan, making it to Jordan actually puts them in limbo. They escape, often narrowly, and end up living in as a transient underclass while they apply and wait to emigrate somewhere else in the world, usually America, Australia, Scandinavia. But this wait can take years. Even though ISIS is pretty much defeated now, pretty much gone and removed from Mosul, most Assyrians that we spoke to in Jordan will never go back. They'll never go home. One Iraqi guy actually told me, "You only hear about ISIS on the news, but many of the other groups are just as bad." In Jordan, they're able to live in relative safety, but as Iraqi refugees, finding a job is pretty much impossible, and they're denied public services like public education for their kids. So the ministry that we connected with actually provides essential services for these people, such as schooling, health and dental services, trauma counseling, and work through making and selling crafts. And they've helped thousands of families. So you can see why this was a challenging trip for me. Firstly, it was deeply emotional. We visited homes of families with stories that would shock you. Stories of young daughters being passed around and raped by ISIS, children being kidnapped, homes being ransacked and burned down, families selling everything that they owned just so that they could buy some tickets to Jordan. And then the young kids, we met young kids there who would, we looked at some of the pictures that they were drawing in the school there, and they would draw their experiences in Iraq, and some of the pictures that they would draw were just horrific. So the dialect challenge, speaking different dialects of Arabic, would have been hard enough on its own, but you can imagine how much more difficult it is when you're fighting back tears hearing these stories. A lot of the time I'd struggle responding, and not because my Arabic was insufficient, but because I literally don't have words that will make their lives any better. There's nothing I can say. I don't know how to speak words of encouragement into situations like these that I'll never understand or relate to. On a lighter side though, I had some really fascinating multi-dialect exchanges. At times I'd be communicating with a group of people from Iraq, Syria, Jordan and Egypt all together in one place, and all speaking their own variety of Arabic. And I got such a thrill out of it. It was awesome. Yeah, and I'd give myself the added challenge of trying to adjust my own dialect, trying to speak a different dialect according to the person that I was talking to. So if I was talking to an Egyptian, and then a Jordanian come along, I'd sort of try and switch over and start trying to speak that dialect. And this is different to what I normally do, which is to just speak Egyptian to everybody, because that's kind of easy for me. So both my Levantine and Iraqi dialect comprehension have improved immensely from this trip. Now, the reason why I went there, other than to improve my Arabic, was for Talkin Arabic. That's talkinarabic.com. Now, I envisaged talkinarabic.com as a tool for positive change from the very start. We began that project in Egypt a few years ago with a group of primarily refugees from Syria and Sudan. And then I actually traveled, shortly after starting it, I traveled to Jordan and hired some Iraqi refugees. And that's kind of how we got it kicked off. A lot of what we've done on talkinarabic.com has been with the help of refugees. And what I anticipated in starting this resource was to provide learners around the world with Arabic dialect lessons, while at the same time providing opportunities to families in need. People like you and I want to learn different dialects of Arabic. We want to learn spoken Arabic. And that's something that these people are they're very happy to share it with other people. So we went back to Jordan this time with that same goal in mind. The refugees from Iraq and Syria who are in Jordan are in desperate need of work. They're in desperate need of work, like I said, and many of them are highly skilled professionals who love to share their language and culture with other people. I met families who had successful businesses and careers back in their homeland, and then they lost it all overnight. So we were able to hire some of these families to join our team, and we've got much bigger goals in the pipeline. Now I should add too that unlike some other dubious language services that I'm aware of, online language sites, we actually endeavor to pay US equivalent or even better salaries to these families. And that's important to us. So to any of my readers, listeners who are here, who have used talkinarabic.com, who have actually joined talkinarabic.com before, I just want you to know who it is that you've been supporting. Just know that if you do use talkinarabic.com, if you join it, if you pay the subscription, that you are supporting refugee families with that money. And our new friends, our new refugee friends who are working with us have already started to put together some really fantastic Arabic lesson material that will be up on the site very, very shortly. So that's what we've been up to in Jordan recently. It's not over yet. We're heading back soon. Now, I know that the word refugee, the term refugee, tends to carry a negative connotation these days with a lot of people. It's become a bad word, frankly, for a lot of people. I often find myself having to convince others that the people that we meet, the people that we know, these are not opportunists. These are not people looking for better opportunities. These are people who did not leave their homes for any other reason other than self-preservation. But I hope that what we're doing really draws a little more attention to what these people have and are still experiencing.